Okay, part two. Part two is me getting out of the hospital for the second time. This time they made me go do a bunch of tests, a bunch of MRIs, a bunch of EKGs, a bunch of EEGs, a bunch of x-rays, a bunch of experimental things trying to figure out why I'm having these seizures, and no one could understand why I was having these seizures. They basically tried to diagnose me with epilepsy, even though it wasn't epilepsy. I think back then they really didn't know what PNES was, so they kind of labeled me and put me in the epilepsy category. So at that time, I was from Pennsylvania, so they sent me to Philadelphia, the University of Penn, to see a better specialist for neurology and trying to figure out what was wrong with me, why I kept having all these seizures. And basically my doctor kind of recognized it as like a stress disorder, a trauma disorder, and she put me on a medicine called Lamictal, 200 milligrams. I take that every day. This was back in 2002, 2001. And I've been on it ever since, the Lamictal, so it's just became like a part of my everyday thing. I think it doesn't do much to my brain. I think it just calms my brain, because the medicine also is used for like bipolar disorder. So, and I think another thing too, it tries Lamictal's for, it's a couple for other illnesses and problems people have. But yeah, I've been on that for a while now. I guess after a year or two having seizures, they finally stopped completely. I went to go live with my then-time boyfriend, and I was able to find relief, to be able to heal after leaving like my my house, because it was a lot of trauma. And my mother wasn't an easy person to live with, because she also had very many mental illnesses that she never really dealt with. So it was kind of it was very messy. My seizures stayed away. I still had a lot of auras, which aura is when you see colors, or you feel like something's gonna happen. Like my auras is basically my ears will start to ring, and then my face will go numb, and then I feel very very dizzy. I start to get that unbalance. I forget the name for that. Not indigo. I forget what the name of that is, but I start to get that, and then I kind of try to lose my balance. And my feet and my legs start to move, but like I don't have a seizure. But those are usually my auras that I feel like I need to rest. 2018, it came back like a brick wall. I was sitting in my kitchen, and I was getting up to make my coffee, and I was standing behind the counter making my coffee, and all of a sudden I just got this swooping like numbness, this feeling of droppingness. Like, you ever feel like the anxiety or that intense like fear? It's like I had nothing to fear. I had nothing, anxiety to be anxious about at that time. So it's like it just like washed over me, and then I had to sit down, and then I felt very shaky, and I knew it came back. It was very scary. When it came back, I had a lot of panic. I had a lot of fear. I couldn't think straight. I just felt numb, but I was feeling at the same time, if that makes sense. And the ambulance came and took me, and they did tests. And when they do the tests, it's kind of depressing, because they'll check your heart, and your heart rate's fine. They'll do your blood test is fine. They'll do a P-test, your P-test is fine. Everything shows up as fine, but you're obviously not fine. You're having seizures, and you're dizzy, and you're not acting right, and your body feels completely off, and they don't know what to do. So I went home after that, and then I rested a little bit, and then like it was completely over and over again. I kept having seizures. I kept having the shakes. I couldn't sit still. It came to the point where I have to like walk. I had to hold a tennis ball in my hand and walk back and forth, because every time I sat down and I relaxed, a seizure would happen. So if I stayed active, which I absolutely hated because I'd have to stand and walk a lot, it was miserable. I hated that so much. So I started to research holistical because they didn't have anything for PNES. There's nothing for PNES. My neurologist that I had at that time, she had no idea what to do with me. She just said rest. She went to go send me for an EEG at a hospital for 3 days. And that's when they diagnosed me with PNES. So I had to sit there with all those wires all over my head. And they did all the tests with the blinkies in your face and the sleep prevision where they keep you up all day and all night. And then I finally had like the biggest seizure I've ever had. It lasted for over an hour. They had to call cardio because my heart was going so fast, and they thought I was going to have a stroke, and my face was starting to turn white. And it was just a very scary situation. I'm going to go into part 3. This is getting long too.